Chris, I just want to say, joking aside, I am very happy that Klay Thompson is back.
I agree. It was a long time coming for him, and I'm happy to see him back on the court.
No, and in the finals, no less.
Yeah. So that only proves that they needed him, though. Just saying.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And he also needed his shoes, too.
Correct.
Which we'll get into right now.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to SneakerWeb. My name is Rico.
My name is Chris.
And today we have another Chinese New Year colorway for you, but today in the Anta Kt7, the 7th model in the Klay Thompson line. Chris, what are your immediate thoughts?
It's different. But a good different.
Right, okay.
You know, it has a lot of the colors that I would like on a shoe. And very, very, very solid materials. So we'll get into that in a second, but go ahead with your tech breakdown.
Absolutely. I thought you would never ask. Anyway, I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone here because I don't want to mess it up. So starting from the ground up, you have a translucent outsole, and then what houses the cushion is a TPU translucent cage. And then these black portions right here on the outside and medial side, those are nylon TPU wings. And then for torsional rigidity on the bottom, you have your carbon fiber plate. And then this green section right here in the back heel is their smart cushioning module. I'm assuming it's for heel strikes or heel absorption whenever you do some sort of heel movement. Hopefully the defender doesn't catch you on your heels. But then for the main cushion for the midsole, it's their N2 midsole. And to top it off, you have your N2 insole. And immediately just trying these on for the B-roll and just walking and just doing some test plays in these in my practice sessions. These do feel very comfortable. You do have to break them in because of the extra TPU and the carbon plate. But we'll see what happens after I break that in. But Chris, you were talking about the materials on top, the fabric.
So the fabric on top, it kind of gives like a carpet feel. Very, very nice overall design that I'm seeing. It looks like one of those fisticuff kind of rings that you hold, and it's like all over the shoe as a print, like a continuous pattern. And you get this nice cream color.
Yes,
now,
you do.
It's very pleasing to the eye. I think it goes super well, especially with the Anta stitch that you see right across here on the front side. And also you get a really nice pop of orange. Now, when I say putting colors together in a shoe that fits the narrative, I feel like this shoe is perfect for anybody that's into, you know, earth tones or colorways of shoes that are like subtle plays, but not super bright, and that's kind of my speed.
Okay.
And this kind of hits all the boxes. Now, there are a couple things on here that I do find that I'm not really super keen on, and the stitching is not as tight as I would like on this specific shoe. I don't know if it's the same for all the shoes, but you do see a bit of double-edged stitching there where it kind of goes off of the front panels, and there's kind of loose stitching at the end where you see for the shoe. So that to me is a kind of a little downturn there, because you can kind of see the stitching could become loose, you know, as you play on.
Right.
So there's that possibility.
I will say what's probably going to save it is the heat welded plastic to it.
Yeah. To me, that's one of the things that I look out for. Anytime you have a basketball shoe, you do want tight stitching, or you want the glue to be tight on there and not super loose. Of course, you know I always got to go for the clear sole. That's super.
I did it just for him.
Super clean on this shoe, and it kind of gives that large portion all the way around, especially on the inside, and that kind of fits the shoe very well. At first, I also thought this cushion part was Boost, but it is not. It is their N2 technology that they do have for this shoe, and I think it works super well. It does give you that super soft feel, and I love these TPU wings on here. I love how it feels. I love how they incorporate it into the initial design of the shoe, not making it the statement piece, but letting it do its own thing and kind of just wrap around the back end, and I love that.
Correct. And also, like I mentioned, this is the Chinese New Year colorway, so the white portions of the fabric you're going to see is the tiger paw prints on here, and then along the tongue you're going to have cat symbols, and then Klay Thompson's number 11 here right at the end of the tongue here, but going back up the tongue, you have Klay Thompson's logo right here. And then to get into the padding, you do have those Achilles notches right there to make sure your Achilles is nice and comfortable. But also it's a cat tongue material. So it goes, so when your foot so when your foot slides into the shoe, it goes in smoothly, but because of that rougher material going up, it's not going to hopefully let your heel pop out.
I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
I've never
felt a cat tongue?
I have occasionally, unfortunately, been licked by a cat before, and it's not very comfortable.
Ew, gross.
But
that's what they call this material.
Yes, and I can see that. It's like a one-way thing. You go in one way,
right,
and then it's kind of like giving you a little bit of difficult pull on that, and I kind of like that because when a lot of people play intense basketball or you're trying to make quick stoppages, you don't want your shoes flying off, especially if someone's crossing your ankles. You want to be able to hold on tight, you know? So I got that. The padding on the inside.
Or if you're making hard jump shots like Klay Thompson is.
Exactly, and you don't want those coming off. We don't want a Zion situation.
No.
So I do really, really love this padding on the inside, especially around where the back heel is.
Right.
It's super, super thick, and I like that. I think more basketball shoes should have that kind of thickness when it comes to padding around the back ankle. And I think the only people that really do that well, other than this, were the Kyries. I think Kyries had really good padding on the inside. And also the initial Puma Clydes, but the Puma Clydes didn't have this thick of material. So I'm actually super, super, super happy that this was incorporated in this shoe, and you can kind of see it from the outside how thick that cushion can be. So I think that's super dope.
Well, this is a peek into the insole of the shoe. Chris, if you want to feel that real quick.
Okay, so this is very, very much different from the initial.
I could see why you could think it was Boost from initial because
Boost
presentation.
You still get that same flat portion, and then you still get the initial boost underneath. Right. So you don't get these kind of like ball-like feel. That's pretty cool. I like this.
I will say, real
bouncy.
quick, for a support feature, you are pretty much cradled by the midsole. You do sit about a centimeter within the shoe, which will give you ample amount of coverage around the midsole to make sure that your foot doesn't roll off the footbed. Because I will say, trying these on, these do feel a little taller than what I'm personally used to. I like low to the ground shoes. But because of the amount of cushion packed in here and because of the amount of technology packed in here, I could see why it's a little more of a beefcake than normal shoes. But I will say that they did think about the support features in those and how to keep your footbed on the footbed. So like Chris said, so you don't roll your ankles and prevent any injuries.
Now, when we're talking about cohesion and grip on this shoe, the grip to me, from just feeling based off of how I felt from other shoes, is not as grippy as I would like. But
it might also be the coating.
Yeah.
I waited until we recorded this. These have been in here for a couple of weeks now. I haven't pulled these out the box yet, so they haven't even touched pavement yet. Yeah. So they probably still have a bit of coating on there.
Yeah, so that's, to be decided as far as when you do the play. But from a feel, it's grippy, but it's not as grippy as other shoes that I've, like the Kyries. Those are pretty grippy, but these are pretty okay. I would give it about a 7 as far as grip from the hand.
I will say though, if these do perform well traction wise, that's a hell of a lot of rubber to get through though. That's thick. Yeah,
this shoe overall is thick.
With like 3 C's.
Yeah, it's super, super thick, very beefy shoe. But overall, when I talk about cohesion, because you hear me talk about cohesion a lot when it comes to basketball shoes, and a lot of people don't seem to get that correct.
I think they think of design later.
Yeah, it's almost like they look for the catching point, right? Of what's going to catch the eye of people. Then they think of the design afterwards, and they're like, okay, well, we'll just slap a couple things on here. This shoe kind of gets it right all the way around, and it doesn't sacrifice the look. Okay. A lot of shoes will give you technology, but they'll sacrifice the look, and it'll just come out like super, super gross. And
rise above, focus on science.
You're like, okay, the shoe feels great to play on the court, but it doesn't look good. And I feel like this shoe kind of checks all of those boxes, aside from the grip and the stitching that I don't really think, is super great. But I do think that the shoe overall, color-wise, cohesive wise, the different and influx of materials that they used on here is just beautiful. I think this is a very beautiful shoe, and I would like to see this also in other colorways because I feel like it'd be super nice to look at in other colorways as well.
So there's the launch colorway, which I believe was like a blue colorway. It's to represent like his love for the ocean. I believe there's one for his dog. There's one for the skyline, but I don't remember which city that's for. In my opinion,
It could be for Golden State.
It
If we
might-
think about it.
for San Francisco, right?
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Probably.
But this one, in my opinion, was the best out of all of them in terms of design and color palettes.
No, yeah, this is when I'm talking about like a colorway. This is a colorway. Like it gets it right. And I always criticize basketball shoes for doing too much or doing too little as far as colorways go.
That's fair.
Because I'm a look kind of person. If I'm playing on the court, not only do I want to play well, but I want to look good as well. And I feel like this shoe, encapsulates a lot of the color spots without having to eliminate a lot of the look. And I feel like, materials wise, the cloth on here is so nice, so buttery. It's just an overall clean shoe, and I just like that they took this approach, especially to a Chinese New Year collab. So I like that.
So real quick, if this is a good performer, would you consider buying overseas products for performance?
Possibly.
Okay.
I'm always super iffy on overseas sneakers because they don't get a good rep a lot of the times in
previous past,
in the previous past, even till today. There's still a lot of companies that people kind of shy away from because they're like, oh, they're not your typical Nike, Adidas, Puma, standard like that. So a lot of people are afraid to venture out and try different companies that have probably better technology than we have here. It's just the design and the audience. Overseas, you see a lot of these shoes sell out. Anta is big, Li-Ning is big.
Right.
Here we have Nike and Puma and Adidas, so it would be interesting to see Anta kind of break in more into the American market, because I would love to see these on the shelves at your local JD or Foot Locker. Like, I think these would sell pretty well and could probably be in line with, Kyrie's.
So speaking of where I got these, I actually got these from the Klay Thompson's website. That's the official USDA market.
Yeah.
But that's my overall thoughts on these. Do you want to top it off with anything else?
If I had to rate these, not on performance, but based off of what it entails, I would give it about an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Based off of visuals and looks, I feel like 7.5 just because I don't like thick shoes. But if they perform, then the performance rating will affect that as well. But design rating, I'm probably leaning towards a 7 myself.
That's fair.
Yeah, but that's about everything on the Anta KT7. I also can't wait to see what they do in low form for these. But that takes care of everything for the shoe. And make sure you guys comment down below what are your thoughts on these, and also share the video. It really helps us out a lot. And like the video as well. And make sure you guys subscribe and swing by next time for more awesome content coming your way, guys.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. And remember, keep trekking.
Peace.
Later.